first one, I was thanking for the presenters that's here. Thank you for the citizens that showed up tonight. Pray that you be with our county and bless it this coming year. For it's in your name we pray. Amen. Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, I would like to remind everybody of the meeting decorum that's printed on your agenda. Do we need to change the agenda before we do the consent agenda?
Yes.
Okay, we have, last minute, we have 3 new items to be added to the agenda. The first one is a resolution to ratify a motion from the Wireless Authority to proceed with the VRA application. Grayson County Parks and Rec Advisory Committee bylaws, we're going to update those based off a recommendation from board appointments from last month's meeting. And we need to include a closed session to discuss personnel matter pursuant to State Code 2.2-3711A and 1 of the Code of Virginia involving staff. So with that, I would entertain a motion to amend the agenda. We have a motion and we have a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I'm also aye. Okay, I would entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I'm also aye. We have no public hearings, which brings us to reports, presentations, and/or requests. The first is Mr. Boyer, and as I understand, we're not going to do that this evening. You don't have a presentation during this time. Mr. Keith Andrews with the Clean River presentation.
First off, thanks very much for working this in kind of in the last minute. I appreciate that. With me this evening, Jason just moved out a little bit, but anyway. Going back to when we first started the whole Clean River effort, after the first year, when we had some cleanups and such, the group would meet afterwards and say, what can we do better? And Mike Hanish actually made a recommendation that we recognize people, certificates and such as that. And that kind of brings us up to this past fall when we were putting together some thoughts about the River Wildlife Conservation Club and how we were going to hand out certificates to the people within the club that we did that. And then thinking about that and talking with other leaders from the other organizations, it said, we kind of left out a group. And that was the Board of Supervisors. Because without their leadership and such, I'm not sure we would make the success that we have. So we've basically put together a point of recognition that we'd like to present to the board tonight. And also we have James Parks with the Goodwill Grange, who's one of the groups that participated this year. So with that, good and helpful hand here, Jason is having this, and on it says that it's dedicated to the Grayson County Board of Supervisors in recognition of their leadership in proclaiming August as Clean River Month in Grayson County and their ongoing support in making this proclamation an ongoing success. With their leadership and support, we strive to protect the new in Grayson County as we grow the next generation of river stewards and provide an example for other riverside communities to model. So it says a lot, but it basically says what we're trying to be about and what we've been able to achieve so far. So here it is. I would also say that this has grown in the sense of last spring I had a request to do some information and such with the Goodwill Grange. We used the movie that was put together, Story of the New, and then talked about our efforts in the county. And they had around 40, 50 people there. And then if you include the number of people that have actually participated in 23, that's probably another 59 people in river cleanups and such. And what you're finding is it's growing because we have, like I said, the Grange actually put a group in and they're wanting to do more. We did do a certification process for water quality river watchers through the New River Conservancy. Whereas we didn't have anybody before this year, we actually have 5 people certified to do locations in the county. And you may know, you actually have 3 employees in the county that are doing that. Do you know who their names are? You should find out. Okay. That's important. So we've done that. And like I said, it's grown. And even the groups themselves are working with each other. Upcoming with the county and such, and other people, Land Care is putting on their land fair. And the topic for this year is what? The New River, based upon what we're trying to do. So not everything's happening in August. And you may know that others are helping with Land Care as far as providing support so that we are growing the New River students going forward. So thank you much.
Keep it up. Thank you for what you do.
Okay.
Can
Can I give you guys?
Okay.
Mr. Belton, who's in the crowd, you want to join us? You're a big part of this.
Come on. Come on, John. Come on. I need you in there tomorrow.
Chairman, there he is. Somebody got bored on there.
If I can get you guys to like.
No.
You can squish in as close as you can. Do a little dance around here, but yeah.
Step back a little bit.
Okay. Everybody look this way. That's one.
Oh, I
Thank you so
closed
much.
my eyes. Yes, sir. This is really nice.
Yeah.
That is beautiful.
Appreciate it.
Sure.
Thank you.
So what, thank you.
All right.
Let us know where you're gonna put it.
We'll figure out something. You said you reckon?
I agree. Needs to be easy to see. Okay.
That's great.
Flood down,
Rick Wood, the old-
flood down, flood of 20. Okay, we're ready to keep going. I got coaching on this right before. Miss Sudandra Ratnasamy?
Yes.
Did I get it?
Can you say that again, Michelle?
I only brought 4 folders, so I apologize for that. We will bring more next time.
That's okay, we can share.
We'll share one right here.
So. First of all, I do want to thank you for giving us this opportunity. I am really very thankful to be here in this community service at one of the community healthcare. We are one of the partner. As you know, I'm the CEO of the hospital. I've been in this job for the past 7 months now. I lived in Florida for the past 30 years. Complete opposite. I don't want to call culture. It is definitely awesome culture, and the weather and everything. I love it, and it is my privilege to serve this community. And I brought a couple of my folks here. That's Lori Watt. She's our market director for the physician service line, and Ashley Holtman. She's our growth and outreach liaison. So thank you for joining me. They would also join me sharing some of the things that we do. As you know, the Twin County Regional Healthcare just like every other hospital, we went through a lot too, just during COVID time. So we are post-COVID now. I want to assure you guys, we are working on, we are more stable now, getting back to the basics, brought a lot of service line here. We're the only hospital for the Twin County region. So we want to be the hospital to serve the community. ER is pretty busy. We do started advertising our wait time there. We have physicians, team health, stable physicians there. It's been going on for the past 6 to 7 months. Internally, we have internal medicine also. And we also added some basic service lines like cardiologists. We have stable cardiology there. Nephrology we just added, so those patients who get dialysis, they don't need to go anywhere else, so they can get dialysis in a hospital. And also neurology, orthopedic, and general surgeon. So we have, and urology. So we do have all those common things. Of course, we can't do open heart surgery, but what is the right thing for the community like this, small community? So we are here to serve the community. Recently, a couple of weeks ago, we had the lobby day. We reached out to our community representatives and, volunteered. They are doing some initiative, rural health initiative, because there are hospitals that are being shut down. We don't want to get into that to stabilize. We need their help. So we offered that we'll partner with them to help them to understand. We also invited that come to us, Southwest Virginia. Don't forget Southwest Virginia. It feels like, I didn't openly say that. It feels like those rural communities are forgotten. You can make policy sitting in Richmond. So come to us and we will show you around, invite people like you, Galex, and of course here and Carroll County will invite those community members and partners so we can together sit and talk about it. So we did that. So hopefully we will be part of them. And coming back to the hospital, I am going to invite Lori. Before that, I want to ask you guys to look at that. There is a community impact report on one side where you can see, what we do in the community. There are almost 118 employed independent providers, that is physicians and mid-levels. And nearly we spent 1.4 million capital improvements. This is 2022 report. Obviously, when we have 2023, we're finalizing, we'll provide that also. Payroll, if you look at that, we have 350 local employees. We spend almost 27.5 million to our local employees. That goes to right back to the community. And we donated nearly 6.4 million to the community services. Of course, we are tax-paying partner, local tax-paying partner. So I wanted to stress that also. Having said that, I'm going to invite Lori because we do have independent clinic right here, so she can give some update on that.
So our independence clinic, y'all may not know, we struggled a little bit at the end of the year. We lost our full-time NP, Julie Sprinkle. And I also know there was another office in the market that left too. So it left the community a little open and without the family care internal medicine that they needed. Julie Sprinkle has rejoined us as a PRN, so she is helping us out at least a day a month, and hopefully in the next couple of months she'll be adding on some days. We also obviously want to serve this community because, again, we love the community, kind of going back to what she said, that's what we're here for. So we have pulled one of our mid-levels out of one of our other clinics. She's doing currently 2 days a week here, and she will be here full-time in April. In March, she'll be here 3 days a week. We're also recruiting for a second full-time position or mid-level into this office. So again, we want to be able to serve the community, and we listen to the needs of the community. We currently offer the 4-plex testing here on site, and we look at other services we could potentially offer and things we can bring into this community. Some of the services that she just mentioned, is there opportunity to bring some of those here to Independence. So we're really excited about that. Thank y'all.
Thank you for that.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, there are no more reports, presentations, so we're gonna move right on to old business, board appointments. As I remember it, there were just a couple that we left from last, meeting that we had, and there's a couple more that came up, and, we added one to the rec board, I believe, and I think we're gonna be discussing that later, to approve the rules change, for them.
So there's three.
Cleo, rec board,
So there really, there are four. We have the Cleo's, planning commission, zoning, and then we'll discuss the rec board. I think those are the only four.
okay.
Sorry. Oh,
Oh, so that was at the top.
Well, do we open this up for nomination, or can I just say I'm willing to serve on the ag board unless somebody else wants it?
Who's currently on it? Is
It was John.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
And then there was something on the agenda, I believe last meeting, Supervisor Thomason agreed to serve on the library
That's
board.
right.
Somehow we
If
missed that.
that's, if nobody else.
The board is all, the board
We
agrees with
have
that.
general consensus on that. Okay. And then on the Clio, board, it recommended that the
Chair.
chair and the vice chair, and we talked about that prior to the meeting. He's gonna catch me up to speed on that, so. The rec board, I believe, we asked to add an additional seat at last, meeting, and, staff has gone back to them. It's gonna require a vote, or it's not a resolution, but it's gonna require a vote that we agree with their bylaws to add an additional, board member.
Yeah, we have the bylaws, and so we really, based on your recommendation, they amended the bylaws, and really just requires your signature.
Good.
Your signature. Unless there's any additional, I think I sent it to everybody via email, unless there's any questions or discussion needs to be had on the bylaws.
I think
It looked good to me.
in the zoning, board, we had one applicant.
Yes, I think.
Sarah Trimble,
Yeah, for the Oak Creek District.
and unless there's any other nomination for that planning commission,
Yeah, the planning commission, that's actually the at-large appointment. We just figured this out yesterday about lunchtime, I guess, Lyndon. Because he lives in the Wilson district, but it's actually the at-large appointment. And I had there's a packet here, not in our regular packet, but the one from today. Howard Sharp, he was wanting to serve, and I would like to nominate him for the planning commission.
so are there two, spots available in the planning commission?
So we're more planning, right? So we have Robert Felicito, is that his name, sir? Linda, correct me if I'm wrong on this. He and Dan Boyer, Dan's not on, so they're both, he served since 2013, and he's been a productive member. I think he's up for his second term. Is that right, Linda?
He finished out a term in 2013,
Okay,
and then he was nominated in 2020
Okay.
to serve a 4-year term.
Okay.
His 4-year term ended January of 24.
and how many, do we need one more person on planning or
We
two?
just need one.
Okay, so then you have two candidates, and you have Robert and Howard, the one you just said today. That's in your packet. So you need to decide between those two individuals.
Three, we have three. Is that correct? Mr. Felicito, Mr. Sharp, and Ms. Trimble?
No,
So
that's
that's
Trimble sign.
zoning board of appeals.
Just
Yeah,
planning,
it's
just the
separate.
planning.
Okay, so we're on the planning commission, we have two.
Planning commission, you got two, Felicito and Sharp.
You nominated Sharp.
Yeah, I talked to him and he expressed interest a while back, and I'd like to nominate him.
Does this require a second?
If there's more than one nomination,
One.
yes, but
Okay, I'll second that.
any other nominations for the planning commission?
So we need to decide between him and Robert, is that? No,
Well-
they can both serve.
No.
No.
There's one nominee.
People,
You need to decide between those two.
So he's currently,
Robert's the one that has currently, so.
Robert's
And
currently-
he's
he expressed.
This many years.
And he's the at-large representative, and then there's one at-large representative and two from each district.
Correct.
So since
So he's
Howard,
Wilson, but he is the at-large.
so since Howard expressed interest, I want y'all to get him on.
It's the at-large appointment, so I think, I agree with the at-large appointing.
is Mr. Felicito at large currently?
It says W, but you said he's at large.
He is the at-large. That was my fault, he put the W because I knew he lived in the Wilson district, so, but he is at-large.
So you have two candidates in the at-large district.
And we have a nomination for Mr. Sharp.
You got a nomination from
Are
Mr.
there,
Burnett and Mr. Shaw.
are there any other nominations? Does this require a vote? We've got several on the table here. Can we just, we only have one nomination right now.
Keep going.
So the only other thing we have is the zoning board of appeals, correct?
Is the Crossroads, is that up, or was that last month that it says Crossroads for your term?
Yeah, so Crossroads is in a transition at this point, and this one will move to a real estate board, is that correct, Ken?
Correct.
Yeah, so they're gonna move to a real estate board, so they asked Mr. Butler to stay on until they move to that real estate board, which is next month or the following month? Or the following month, a transition is taking place. WCC.
So when that happens, will we need an appointment from this board, or is that, it's done?
If I read the minutes correctly, the only ones that weren't settled last meeting were these four.
Okay.
Are you, and I think you're doing you're replacing Kenneth on that board, is that correct?
There won't need to be a.
We won't need.
There won't be a replacement.
Not
Gotcha.
on the crossroads.
Okay, this is gonna go to
But he is
a
on
private
the-
entity.
Right. Well,
All right,
that's
so
still WCC.
Is, Sarah Hatch Trimble the only?
She is my nominee for the Oak
Is
Creek
she,
district.
is she the only one that we need to discuss for zoning?
Yes,
Okay.
she's the only one.
So if I understand it correctly, we've settled all of the boards. We have two nominations, Mr. Sharp and Ms. Trimble. And the rest has been taken care of. So does this complete our board nominations for the year?
Well, so
No, we got
the zoning board of appeal, I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
So the zoning board of appeals, 5-year term, Tony Goodman, his doesn't expire until the end of March. And I have spoken with him, and he would be willing to do it if we don't find a replacement, but I've also spoken to an individual who is thinking about
I think they're gonna have to fill out an application form and get that in, but for the business of tonight, and ag board, as long as I have the consensus, I'll serve on the ag board.
That's fine. I kind of saw where you were going with, is this, we could, if we could do this once.
Just
a year,
voted
be
on,
great.
yeah.
But I know voting it all at once, but these things come up at separate times, so I guess we'll be dealing with this throughout the year.
You were dealing with different board appointments throughout the year.
I'm just dealing with what's on
What's on
tonight's
the
agenda.
agenda.
Are we good with it?
All right, yeah.
So can we go back through it real quick just to make sure this is in the minutes? We have the Clio board, and that is,
Chair and vice chair.
chair and vice chair. We have fixed the library board because Supervisor Thomason agreed to do that last meeting. On the Ag Advisory Board, unless somebody else wants to do it, I'll agree to be on the Ag Advisory Board. Zoning Board of Appeals, Ms. Sarah Trimble.
Can I make sure we have that list correct at this point?
And then the Planning Commission, Mr. Cornett's nomination of Howard Sharp. Am I missing anything, Mr. Board?
Just want to make sure we got zoning correct. So we have,
Mr. Trimble, I believe.
we have Trimble, will take the place of.
Marie.
Marie.
And what their wishes to serve.
What about Dennis Cox?
He's willing to serve.
Oh, he is, okay.
I thought we determined that. Didn't we determine that last meeting?
And it can nominate her three.
Do we need to renominate Mr. Cox? Okay.
It's good till 3:31. Okay.
Okay, can we, add Mr. Dennis Cox to that list for the zoning boards that we have two, Mr. Trimble and Mr. Cox?
We need to do the roof.
Okay.
We need to do.
One more we need to
I think
do.
on that zone board of appeals, there's,
Kristen, and
there's one that listed as Elk Creek, but he's actually, Providence District, Mr. Davis.
Okay.
Uh,
Ron Davis?
Yeah.
Okay, so he is Providence?
yeah,
Okay,
he's on Spring Valley.
okay.
Who is currently on, rooftop?
Rooftop was Mr. Belton, but we're recommending Kristen Shoemate, DSS director. That's Kristen.
Anybody have any?
That doesn't require a supervisor.
I don't think it does.
No, for Ms. Phillips.
Right,
says he
that's
does not.
good, yeah.
Is there anything else we're missing, Mr. Board, Ms. Linda?
I think we got them all. Linda?
You will serve on the emergency
Oh,
services committee.
no, and it's one, we do have one more. I'd like to nominate Mitchell to sit on the EMS commission. I've done that for 2 years. He's actually more astute on that area than I am.
You good with that?
They'd be beneficial.
Now you're gonna have to read them back to us. Hang on there. Is there any more?
Got it. We already did the word road.
According to the minutes from last month's meeting, we only had 4, so there's a couple that we forgot about that we're covering tonight.
The only thing left is the red one.
Proving that.
And all we have to do is just.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do that in 2 different
Okay.
motions, if that's okay.
Yeah.
On board appointees, can you read them back to us to make sure we're,
I'll give a shot here. All right, Ag Advisory, Mr. Ivy, Cleos would be, chair and vice chair. Crossroads, Mr.
All right.
Ash is the primary. Emergency service, what's that? Don't read that.
Crossroads.
Oh, Crossroads.
Crossroads.
Yeah,
Going
Crossroads.
away.
Crossroads is
Cross
gone.
that.
That's a real simple. Emergency services, Mr. Cornett. Planning is Mr. Sharp, is that correct?
Yep.
Rooftop would be Ms. Shoemate. Our road's good. With Grayson, I thought we did with Grayson last time. Okay.
yeah, just make sure we notated that Supervisor Tomlinson's gonna cover that one.
And zoning would be Ms. Trimble and Mr. Cabat, right?
Mr. Cox.
Mr. Cox, okay, Mr. Cox. I think is that it, Linda?
I would entertain a motion based off of the list that Mr. Boyer read, that we approve these board appointments.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Just a little bit of discussion here. These sometimes these appointments are specific to a district, and we've had some confusion for quite some time on this. There's a whole lot to digest. But I would just ask if staff, moving forward, if someone wants to remain, if they would let us know, because if that appointment, for example, if that's someone that is considered to be my appointment and they've been appointed 10 years ago by somebody else, I may have somebody else in mind, and I think that's part of the courtesy of the position. So if we put it on there that they want to remain, it kind of jumbles, it kind of confuses things, you know what I'm saying? If we touch base with whoever it is their person, I think we could clean it up a little bit better and be less confusing. Just my 2 things.
Any more discussion? There's a motion and a second on the table. Discussion is over. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I'm also aye. Okay.
All right, Mr. Chair, could I make a motion we approve the amended, or do we approve the rec board policy
Yeah.
amendments?
I think it requires just a general consensus of the
Okay.
signature. I don't, but that's the next thing on the item. Is there anything other than a general consensus from the board, Mr. Boyer, and a signature to allow for the bylaw changes?
I think we're all in favor.
Okay, moves us on to new business, large item schedule.
Okay. This is same as last year, the 2024 large item solid waste collection for Grayson County residents only, including town benefit freeze. Registration is not necessary. As you know, this is a service that the county provides. People tend to really appreciate this. It's a lot of work for our folks. This will be posted on our website, on Facebook, and it'll list the dates, the different dates that large item collection begins, and I guess that's about it.
Okay, no action necessary on that. We'll move to the next thing. I'm going to try to explain this, and help me if I mess this up, Mr. Mike. But apparently there is a new permit fee for District 3. Can I just hand this over to you? Will you be okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Part of my new appointment on board was District 3. And it was brought to our attention at our meeting last month that there's been some changes in the building code regulations for temporary ramp construction, which any ramps that are 30 inches or higher will fall under these new standards. Will also require agencies, even nonprofit agencies, such as District 3, to obtain building permits. And furthermore, with some of these changes in the standards on the building code, and also there'll be some additional costs with footers. And so in considering that, District 3 covers all the way to Bristol in our region. And typically in 1 year, they help probably 150 seniors in constructing these temporary ramps. And in order to try to, we'll still have to go through the building code standards and be inspected, but just in an attempt to try to, it's kind of like robbing Peter to pay Paul. It's going the funding, we could help a little bit with some of the costs by waiving the cost for the inspection and the zoning permit. I had a conversation with Ms. Black, and the cost is $70-some, just a little shy of $80, which, you know, that those funds could go back to the construction. If we do it across the region, I think the attempt by Ms. Powers, which is the executive director of District 3, across the region, you know, some of the costs that we could save could help us continue to provide these ramps for more seniors. So that would be the ask if the board would want to have a discussion or consider waiving the building permits in Grayson County to assist cutting back some of the costs.
As I understand it, we've never collected these fees before, so it's not going to impact the budget.
Yeah.
So we're simply asking to waive the permit fee for installing a handicap ramp. I doubt there's going to be a lot of discussion on that.
It's not like money we've had in hand, you know, prior. We've never had that money in hand, so it's nothing like that we could cut.
Does this need to be in the form of a motion?
Yes, it does.
And Does it have to be a roll call vote?
Nope, that's not.
Okay, I would entertain a motion to, would you like to just make a motion?
I would like to make a motion that Grayson County waive building permits for District 3 ramp projects for our senior citizens.
Okay, we have a first and a second. Any discussion? I have one thing, just for clarity, not, we won't get rid of the fees, not the permit.
Correct.
Okay, so for clarity.
$75 fee.
Right, and just the wording of it was to waive the permit, but I think we need to word it, waive the fee. Okay, motion second, discussion's over. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I'm also aye. Okay, county administrator's report.
Nothing nicer.
Okay, informational items, are there any registered speakers or public comment? Okay, being that there's no registered speakers or public comment, I would entertain supervisor's time. Does anybody have anything that's in emergency of nature? Okay, I will entertain a motion to go into closed session.
So moved. Do we need to state that we're going into closed session?
I did.
You did in the beginning.
Did I do it again? But I'll do it again.
I just asked you.
It's for personnel matters, but let me get it's for state statute 2.2-3711A1 of the Code of Virginia involving county staff personnel matters. Do we have a motion and a second? Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Also aye. We're gonna take a 5-minute recess.
Yeah.